Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python programming course. In the previous sessions, we learned how to use the for loop to repeat tasks. Okay, so we printed numbers, created multiplication tables, calculated sums, and even found factorials. So today we are taking loops one step further. Today we will be learning about nested loops. Okay, so don't worry if you are hearing it for the first time or the name sounds complicated to you. By the end of today's class, you will understand it with simple real life examples. So before starting on with the new topic, let me just give you a brief revision on the previous sessions. Revision. Okay, so let me ask you some questions to start off. What is a loop? So as we have already discussed in our last lesson that a loop is a block of code written multiple times. A loop repeats a block of code multiple times. Okay, so a loop repeats a block of code multiple times. Okay, so next question would be, let's say, if I am writing if for I in range 5, okay, and then a colon, and then correct indentation, it will print I. Okay, so how many times will this loop execute? So it would start from 0 and run till n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1 4. So 0 to 4, it's 5 times. Okay, so now next question will be that what if we put another loop inside this loop? Okay, if we put another loop inside this loop only, then what will be? That's exactly what a nested loop is. So today's topic is nested loop. Okay, so what is nested loop? So what is nested loop? So nested loop is outer loop, and then one inner loop. Okay, and then repeated work, repeated work. Okay, so a nested loop simply means a loop inside another loop. So the inner loop runs completely every time the outer loop runs once. So once the outer loop will run and the inner loop will run completely, then again the outer loop will work the second time. So it works like this. Okay. So the inner loop runs completely every time the outer loop runs once. Okay. So let me give you an example to make it more clear to you. So imagine a school. So there are 5 days in a week. Each day has 8 periods. Think about Monday. Okay. The school has gone through all 8 periods. Then what about Tuesday? It starts all over again. Again, all 8 periods. Then Wednesday, again, all 8 periods. That is exactly how nested loops work. Okay. So let me open my online compiler here. We will practice some programs related nested loops here. So let me write a loop for I in range, let's say 3. Okay, then we'll take another nested loop for j in range 4. Okay, so print hello. So how many times do you think the hello will be printed? Many of you will answer 7 because it here 3 and it is written here 4. So 3 plus 4, basically if you just see the code and try to answer, then you will answer 7. Okay, but let's see the output here. So it's 1 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's more than 7. Okay. Why so? Because the outer loop runs 3 times and the inner loop runs 4 times. So four times will be printed again 3 times. Okay, so it will be 4 into 3. So it is printed hello here 12 times, not 7. Okay, so are you getting it? The inner loop will work once and then the outer loop will work again. Then again the outer loop will work once, then the inner loop will work for the given number of times. Then again it will come to the outer loop and then inner loop will execute itself fully. Okay, so this repetition will occur until the outer loop satisfies. Okay, so suppose let me give you an example of a factory. Okay, so suppose a factory has 3 machines. Each machine produces 4 bottles. So total bottles, how many will be? 12, right? Nested loops multiply the repetitions. Okay. So let's understand the I and J here. Okay, so let me make some changes in this and right here. Let me print I and J to make it more clear to you. Okay. So let me run this code. C or see for the first loop 0, it is working 0 for 0, 0 for 1, 0 for 2. This is one complete outer and this is the complete inner. So this will be the second outer loop and this complete inner loop. Okay, so are you getting it? So when I equals to 0, the inner loop completes itself 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. So when I equals to 1, then it completes itself again 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. After completion of the inner loop, then only 1 will change to 2. Okay, so you are getting it. So imagine a building with floors like 0, 1, 2, and each floor has rooms like 0, 1, 2. Python visits every room on a floor before moving on to the next floor. Okay, I hope you are clear with it. So let's make a multiplication grid using the nested loop. Okay, so for I in range 1, comma, let's say 4. For j range in 1 comma 4, print I into j comma ends equals to, so ends equals to gap means it will end the line with a space. Okay, and then for next line you will print empty. Okay, so let me run. Okay, I hope sorry, it will be end equals to, not ends equals to. Okay, so end equals to space keeps printing on the same line and print blank moves to the next line. Okay, so you need to remember all these things. So for first time 1, it is printed for j in range 1 into 1, 1 into 2. Okay, just like that. The chessboard analogy here, A chessboard has rows and columns. Python checks every column in a row before moving to the next row. That's what exactly nested loops do. So let's make a mini project on nested loops by adding, let's say, rows and columns. Okay, rows, we let me take our rows, 5 rows, and columns, let's take 4 columns. Okay, so for row in range 1 comma rows plus 1, for seat in range 1 comma column plus 1. Okay, so let's print r comma row add string. We'll do add string, then we'll print s. Sorry, r and s are printed as string here. And s are string, then we'll print the sheet here, and then we'll just do this. Okay. Then change the next line, change it to the next line, we'll print and print. So let's run this program. We will get row 1 seat 1, row 1 seat 2, row 1 seat 3, row 1 seat 4, like this. Okay, so we're getting a seating arrangement. So imagine this is a cinema hall with rows and seats. Nested loop makes this very easy. Okay, so some beginners make mistakes too while writing this nested loops. They forget to give the indentation. They write it like this, but it won't work. This block needs to be inside the loop. Okay, so that's how it makes a nested loop. Okay, so you can also not increase both loops together. The inner loop finishes completely before the outer loop moves ahead. Okay, so you can't make them work together and increase them together. So first the inner loop will work fully, then only the outer loop will work. Okay, move ahead. Okay. You can also not use same variable twice, like for I in range, then also again in nested loop that you cannot use for I in range again. Okay. Why? Because it's very confusing. Use different variable names too. Okay. It would make your program much easier to be understood. Okay, so practice challenge for you all. Create a program that would just print 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3 3 times. Okay, in a row, 3 times. So let me just make it clear for you. So let me just write the code for it, then I will give you a next question to solve it by yourself. First, let's take how many times we need to print it. So the outer loop is for how many times, and what we need to print will be in the inner loop. Okay. In range 1 comma 4. The next line for printing. You need to print blanks. Okay. It printed 1, 2, 3 three times. Okay. So this was just simple. So a homework for you all is to, let's say, create a 5 by 5 grid of stars like this. Like just have we have printed 1, 2, 3. You need to print stars. Okay. And also print a 4 into 6 grid of numbers. So this is 3 by 3 grid. So print a 4 to 6 grid of numbers. And also you can print your name 5 rows and 3 columns in this manner using nested loops. Okay. So this will just make your work easier and help you practice. Okay. So today we learned one of the most important concepts in Python, which was nested loops. We discovered how one loop can run inside another, how the outer and inner loops interact, and how nested loops are used to build grids, tables, seating layouts, and multiplication charts. So now we will use nested loops to create beautiful star patterns, just like I have told you to do, and number patterns will also do, and pyramids, which are very popular in coding interviews and programming exams. Okay, so let's begin with pattern printing. So let me just we so let me just again tell you that we understood that one loop can run inside another loop, and together they help us solve many real world problems. So now we will use nested loops to create something really interesting, which are patterns. So coding interviews, college practical exams, and programming contests, you will often see this pattern question. But don't worry, by the end of this session, you will know exactly how to think while solving any pattern problem. So first, our first Python pattern program would be printing stars. Okay, by understanding the rows and columns, you can do so. So how many? Let me first write something. Uh, let's see. So how many rows are there? So horizontal are the rows. So horizontal, this are the rows. So number of rows here are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 4 rows. And how many columns of stars are there? So vertical stars are there. So if you see like this, sorry, this was the rows 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and number of columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, horizontal rows and vertical columns. So here are 4 rows and 5 columns. So how many seats are there in each row? If you take the stars in as a seat, then there are 5 seats. Okay. So whenever you see a pattern, you always ask two questions in it. How many rows and how many columns? So if you know these two things, you can solve almost every beginner pattern easily. So let me give you an example of a notebook. So imagine a notebook has rows and columns. Okay, a notebook has rows and columns. And Python thinks exactly like the same way. The outer loop controls the rows and the inner loop controls the volume, plus the columns, sorry. Outer loop controls the rows and inner loop controls the columns. So let's begin with our first pattern question, which is a rectangle. We will make a rectangle. So for I in range, let's say 4, and then for, sorry, I have written in for j in range 5. So you can't take range and both range same because it will make a square then. We need to elongate one side to make it a rectangle. Okay. So I hope these are simple concepts and you will be clear with it. Basic general knowledge things. And with that end equals to a space. Then we'll print it in the next line. Okay. Now let me run this. So see, this has made a rectangular pattern. This is not a square, this is a rectangular pattern. Okay. So the outer loop runs 4 times because we have given here range 4. And the inner loop prints 5 stars. So 4 stars as rows and 5 stars as columns. So it would make a rectangle and print blank moves to the next slide. This is how this pattern printing works. So mm, let me give you an example. So imagine a hotel which has 4 floors. Each floor has, let's say, about 5 rooms. So Python, what it does is first creates room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, room 5, and then it moves to the next floor. Okay. So now let's like we made a rectangle, we learned how to make a square in Python. Okay, so let's again take a range for I in range, and this time we will need to take both range as same because we need the length and breadth equal for a square. For j in range, sorry, so we'll take 5 only, and then it will print star only, and then we'll end equals to 0, end equals to blank and space, then print next line. Okay, so this would make a square. No problem. Yeah, it is making a square. See, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and 5 columns. Okay, so this is making a square. So hence, is you can all make any type of shape using this. Just need the rows and columns needed. So let's make now let's try to make a increasing triangle. Okay, so this is where pattern becomes interesting. Let me show it to you first. Now I will make by writing some adding some changes here. 1 comma 6, wait, I have number 1 comma 6, and then j range will be equals to I only. Okay, and then just done. Oh, I have given comma here, sorry. You see they are making an increasing triangle, so it is like this. Okay, So why does every row increase? You must have this question in your mind. So the first row has one star, second row has two stars, and accordingly every row has number of stars, number of rows. Okay. So because we have taken the range as I, so since the as the outer loop keeps on increasing, the number of prints in the inner loop also increase with it. Okay. So imagine climbing stair. So first step, one stair, second step, another stair, just like that, two, three, four, the staircase grows exactly like this pattern here. Okay. So let's make a reverse triangle too now. So we'll just change the range here by adding 5 here and give a stop and step value. If you're clear with your range, number of rows, columns, and indexing, then you can do it easily. Okay, it's just done. We'll print it and see. It has made a reverse triangle just on the same like same principles of how we made a increasing triangle. Row stays 5 and the column decreases every row. Okay, so let's make a number triangle. Okay, triangle using a number. We'll make it in increasing way only. 1 comma 6, and we'll make changes here. Okay, so 1 comma say I plus 1, and we'll print here. Sorry, print j here. Okay, and let's done this. So we'll get a number triangle with number increasing as the number of rows increases. Okay. So instead of stars, we are printing a number here. Let me give you an example of a, let's say, imagine students standing in a row. First row, roll number one, second row, roll number one, two, third row, roll number one, two, three. Exactly the same logic is used. So, mm, let's make a mini project as a multiplication grid using this too. Okay, so now we will make some changes here until we will make 6 only here, and then we will print multiplication of I and j, comma, and equals to slash t. So I will make it clear to you the meaning of slash t before the end of this program. So now let's see the output. Is it as wait? Oh, I have used the wrong t here, wrong slash, the backslash. Sorry. Okay, now it will work. Yeah, see. So backslash t is for base. Okay. You see, I have printed a multiplication table of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. One table, 1, 2, 1 into 1 equals to 1, 1 to 2 equals to just like this. We have making tables. Okay. Every row multiplies with every column. So think of an Excel sheet, rows, columns, tables. Okay. Just like this, nested loops can generate similar structures. Okay. So I think we are done with it. Now I will tell you about some common mistakes that people do. People forget to print this. If you forget to print this, then everything will be printed in the same line only. Okay, so changing the line requires print equals to blank. Print column blank. Print function just as it is. Okay, so everything outside the inner loop, everything prints on one line. Also, wrong indentation, I have been telling it to you. Okay, so pause this video and try to print patterns by yourself also. Create patterns using numbers, using stars, and many more things. And also, we also had some complex pattern structures that we don't require in this code. It's for advanced level code. Okay, so you can also ask ChatGPT to give you some and practice. And if you don't get the answer of them, you can see online videos too. Okay, so excellent work. Today we have learned how to create some of the most common beginner patterns using these nested loops. Uh, then after that, we build rectangles, squares, triangles, reverse triangles, numbers, patterns, and multiplication grids too. So more importantly, you learned how to think about rows and columns before writing any pattern program. So likewise, in the next session, we will continue with advanced pattern printing, I think including this uh, hollow squares. I think we will do it if our session requires it. Otherwise, we will start with the next part, which would be while loop. Okay. So these problems will improve your logic building skills and prepare you for your coding tests and technical interviews too. So keep practicing today's pattern and try changing the numbers of rows and columns and play with it. And I'll see you in the next session. Happy coding. Thank you.